Hi everybody, my name is Logan and this is a Once Upon a Book Club read-along for our December adult selection, which I'm very excited to reveal for you guys live on camera, and we are going to check out what was in the box. So opening the box, we have our December contents. Inside you'll find your monthly pamphlet, which include the read-along dates, the author information, as well as the discussion questions. Also included was a signed bookplate by the author. We also included an array of gifts. So the first gift was page 8. We had page 142, page 214, and page 228. We also had the book, which this month was Lights on the Sea by Mikel Reyna. And we had our book club perks pack, which this month included a couple coupons. We first included a signed book plate by Sarah Holland, the author of the Everlist series. We also included a 20% discount for Chicklet Designs and for Once Upon a Bookcase, which is a phone case subscription. Those discounts are coupon code Book Club. And finally, a excerpt from The Whispered Word by Ellery Adams. And this also had questions that you can submit at yourBookRx.com, which was to submit your own questions and problems about reading. So those were our little book club perks this month. And moving on to the gifts. So the first gift was on page 8, which was really early in the series. Page 8 was right here. And this reads, "In the cluttered basement workshop, Mr. Grapes was working on one of his miniature ships. Shafts of sunlight came through the porthole windows. Here, moving boxes still sat folded, leaning against the washer and dryer. Everything was still in place. Dozens of old appliances lay scattered near the enormous cistern. The only space reflecting the impending move was the almost bare pantry, hidden behind a threadbare checkered curtain. Despite his constant complaints about the cramped space, Harold spent most of his time amid that chaos. He enjoyed tinkering and working on inventions, but his favorite activity, the only one that could cheer him on days he felt down, was building ships in bottles. Using old bottles he had found washed up on the beach, he built scale replicas of historic ships. Those marvels had previously been found throughout the house, but now they were all carefully wrapped in bubble wrap and placed in boxes, all but one. Unlike the others, the replica that Harold now held was not in a bottle, but in an old squat mason jar. Inside, his most treasured ship sailed defiantly across the sea of resin. It was the first he'd ever made. The ship had no detailed ornamentation, no royal crest emblazoned on her sails. It was a simple, seaworthy sailing vessel, a modest boat longing for great adventures." And that was our first gift for the month. So this is the ship in the mason jar, and this reads "Our Home" at the bottom. This was one of the most fun gifts we've ever included, and we had a blast recreating that one. The next gift was on page 142, right back here. And this one reads, "The icy air made Harold cough, but this attack only lasted a few seconds. The woman took out 2 steaming wooden bowls of thick gray soup, a container of water, and a third bowl with pieces of raw fish that immediately quieted the pup. Harold and Mary Rose accepted the bowls as if they were priceless treasures. The heat from the wood transferred quickly to their icy hands, sending a tremor of pleasure through them. 'Thank you so much,' said Mary Rose, as she raised her eyes to meet the woman's. The woman looked away and glanced nervously behind her. She reached into the basket and pulled out a small clay pot and a thick bundle of bandages, which she held out to Mary Rose. Mary took them and looked at the thick brown paste in the pot, not knowing what it was for. The woman pointed to her knee. then swiftly gathered the basket and pulled the torch out of the snow. She disappeared again into the silence of the night. So the second gift was this adorable little clay pot. And inside of the clay pot, we actually put a roll of bandages. So it was just like in the story. So that was gift number 2. Gift number 3 was page 214, which was the first of the 2 softer gifts. And this one reads, again she heard her angry words when she screamed that it had been his fault their son had died that night. Mary Rose realized that none of that had helped to ease her pain. It had only isolated her from the only person who had truly loved her. More than that, it had prevented her wounds from healing. She felt her eyes fill with tears. Without even realizing what she was doing, she removed her mitten and tenderly took Harold's bare hand, the same way he had taken hers so many years ago. So inside of the gift number 3, we included a pair of adorable mint green mittens. These are super soft. They're really furry and fuzzy inside, and they've also got the string to attach them, which can be cut if necessary. But these are absolutely adorable, and I am so glad to finally own a pair of mittens. And the last gift was the biggest one. This was page 228, and this reads, Ukluk didn't look convinced, but he didn't waste any time. A Mac leaped and landed in front of Mr. and Mrs. Grape's tent. Harold, Mary Rose, he desperately yelled again. Without waiting for an answer, he grabbed the front flap and burst in. What he saw, or rather what he didn't see, made him freeze. Harold and Mary Rose weren't there. Amak was turning to leave when he saw a scrap of paper among the blankets. He picked it up and found a note. Thank you for helping us remember the purpose of our journey. We'll never lose sight of it again. Harold and Mary Rose Grapes. So we included the note that was found on top of the blanket, which this is not a blanket, but it is a blanket scarf. And this is super big and soft and beautiful. But in addition to those, we also included, Amak turned the note over, and on the other side was a photograph. It was of a man and a woman and a little boy with brown hair and blue eyes standing in front of a ship under construction. The boy's hair was the same color as the woman's, and his eyes were just like the man's. Amak recognized the younger features immediately and ran out of the tent just as the ice which it was pitched on split. And that was the final gift from our box, so we included the photograph to match all of the detail from the book, as well as the blanket that it was on. So that was the 4th and final gift from our December adult box, which included Lights on the Sea by Mikkel Ringnia. I am so thrilled that we were able to include this book and all of these beautiful gifts. I hope all of you enjoyed them, and I hope that you love to interact with the story so uniquely. So if you missed out on this box, unfortunately we did sell out of it. However, we do have extra, we do highly recommend that you check out this book either on Amazon or from your local bookstore. It is absolutely fantastic. Mikkel Ringnia will be chatting with our readers shortly. I believe next week. We have to finalize a date, but we are very much looking forward to hosting him on our Instagram page, so be sure to view that. And thank you all so much for watching. I hope you have a wonderful rest of your month and have a great rest of your day, guys. Bye!